Hi guys, Rasmus here. I'm back with another Riffing with Rasmus. Today we're going to be looking at picking minor chords. So what I mean by that is that we are playing chords, but we are picking each individual note in the chord. So let me first try and play the riff for you. So this riff is primarily minor chords in the left hand with a few variations, but the tricky part is really to play the pattern with the right hand. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So to jump right into it, the first chord we're going to be playing is an E minor chord. And we're going to be using this basic 5-string bar chord, like this. But instead of having our index finger barring from the first to the from the E to the A string, we're gonna just have the our index finger on the E string down here on the 7th fret. So what we then have is that we are playing the 9th fret on the D and the G string, 8th fret on the B string, and 7th fret on the E string, like this. And we're only gonna be playing those top 4 strings, so that's all we're gonna focus on. So the chords sound like this. And for the picking patterns that we're gonna play here, it really helps to think of them as groups of 3. So even though we're playing across 4 strings, we are going to play in groups of 3. So let me try and explain. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to play the D string, the G string, and the B string in that order. So that's the first 1, 2, 3. The next 1, 2, 3 notes goes from the E string and then the B and the G. So think of it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, after we've played that, we're going to make a little variation where we move our index finger down 1 fret, so it's on the 6th fret of the E string. And then we're going to play another groups of 3, again starting from the E string and going down. So E, B, and D string. So what we have so far is we start on the D string, play 3 up, and then we play down from the E string 2 times now. So. And then we move our index finger back up, and we play the 3 top strings again, starting from the E. So the picking pattern is 3 up, you could say, starting from the D string, so D, G, B, then it goes E, B, G, E, B, G, E, B, G, string-wise. And we are alternate picking all this, so even though I'm saying up and down, it's not about up and down picking, we are just alternating everything. No economy picking here. So the first chord we have is this. And if I play it fluently up to speed, it's. And slow, that would be. Now this trick of moving the index finger down 1 step is something I caught from watching a Telog video, the guy from Mayhem, the guitarist from Mayhem playing, and I noticed he was doing this variation and I thought, that sounds pretty cool. It gives a bit of a atonal or disharmonic sound, but it works very nice. So that's the first chord. Now the next chord is gonna be another minor chord. Here we play a C minor, but again we're not gonna play the 5th string or the A string. We're just gonna have our index finger here on the E string. And then the pattern in the right hand changes. So now we play 3 strings up, starting from the D string, and then 3 strings down from the E string. And then we just repeat that. So we have. So there's no variation here. The picking is just 3 strings up, 3 strings down, 3 strings up, 3 strings down, starting from respectively the D and the E. So. And then just repeat that twice. And that's our second chord. So in total, we now have, if I play it slowly. And if I kind of try to over-accentuate the groups of 3, it goes like this. I'm just playing in those groups of 3 so that you get the rhythmic idea. So this is a triplet feel part. So therefore it helps to think of this in 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So you play 3 notes per beat, and the beat goes something like this. Now after we played the second chord here, the C minor, we're gonna move up and we're gonna repeat the exact same thing we played on the E minor up here. So if we try and combine all that, then we have. So the last thing we have is that we then move down here and play an A minor. Notice that I'm fretting it like it was bar chord, except that the nut kind of works as the bar here, right? So I have my ring finger on the first fret of the B string, and then my ring finger and my index finger on the second fret of the D and G string. So like this. A very normal A minor. You could also fret it like this, which would be the typical way of fretting it. But since our hand is already in a position where we're playing everything like this and just moving this shape around, it doesn't really make sense to change the fingering on here. So we keep the fingering the same, even though we can actually not do the bar with our index finger here, because we have the nut to do that for us. So it sounds like this, of course. And what we're gonna be playing here is the same picking pattern that we did with the C minor. So 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. Okay, so. But the second time, so after we played the first up and the first down, we're gonna lift up our middle finger, giving us a sus2 chord. So the variation is first regular minor chord, play 1 up and 1 down, 1 group up, 1 group down. Then lift the middle finger and play same pattern with the right hand. So up to speed, it's like this. So all in all, if we combine those 4 chords, we get this. And then we just start over and we play it all again. And then in the intro track, I ended it by going down on the 6th string and playing a power chord E. So if I play it all, it sounds like this. So as I said in the beginning, the hard part here really is the picking pattern with your right hand, or your left hand, of course, if you're left-handed. So if you have a hard time with this, try and only focus on your picking hand and don't really worry too much about the chords. Just try and fret one of these chords and then practice the picking patterns. So the first picking pattern we had was 3 up, 3 notes up, and then 3 notes down, and repeat that thrice. So up to speed, that is. And that's a challenge in itself to play. The hard part here is that you have to pick the 3rd string, and then you have to jump up to the 1st string again. So that will take some time to getting used to. The second picking pattern we have is just basically going up and down. So and that's what we play when we play the C minor or the A minor. But again, just try and hold one chord and practice the different picking patterns. So and then when you have to learn the chord parts, then maybe just do simple strumming on all the beats with your right hand and focus on getting the chord changes right. So something like this. And And the key to having the chord changes is basically remembering that it's all variations of the same chord shape. So instead of lifting your fingers every time and going to a new chord, just raise your fingers so that you're not pushing down on the fret, and then move your fingers around, holding them in the exact same position. That'll make it much easier to move around. And typically you would kind of, your focus point would be on the fifth string here with your index finger. But now try and find one of the other fingers that you find you have a really good grip with, and focus on the fret that it lands on. So for instance, the next one would be that your ring finger is always on the same place in this position. There's no variation in that. So just focus on, okay, it starts on the 9th fret, then it's moved down to the 5th fret, then moves up to the 9th fret again, and then moves down to the 2nd fret. That way you can kind of, instead of tracking where would the bar chord be if you're playing the entire bar chord, you're just focusing on where is that finger, and then all the rest of the fingers should just stay in the same position as you move it around. So I hope you found that lesson useful, and it will start getting you into picking chords. It's really one of the ways where you can add a lot of variations, because you can do many variations just playing the exact same chord. Here was just 2 variations, but there's many more. And I will do further lessons, of course. So if you like these lessons and would like to see more of them, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with more. Thanks!